get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance. January 24th, 1978. A chapter in the National Football League's history came to a close. Joe Namath retired. Broadway Joe, the Jet who jazzed up the AFL with his self-assurance and quick-release passing. In a dozen years, number 12 threw for 27,000 yards, 170 TDs, and a Super Bowl victory. His 13th and final season was spent as a Los Angeles Ram. He came with the intent to perform, but the practice fields and sidelines of Los Angeles football brought on a fourth down situation in his career. Joe Willie decided it was time to go on to other things. He decided to retire. 9 years earlier, it was a different situation. On the heels of a Super Bowl victory, Joe decided to retire rather than obey Commissioner Pete Rozell's edict to sell his restaurant because known gamblers were said to frequent it.
He has to do his job, and if I didn't sell, I would be suspended. Well, I'm not selling. I'll quit.
6 weeks later, however, Namath consented to Rozell's demand and stayed in the game. And oh, what a game he played. It was the old NFL coach gone AFL versus his successful Colt apprentice. It was the NFL's legendary old pro gunslinger versus the AFL's confident young quarterback. They don't stand a chance, said some. We will win, said another.
Namath firing. A great grab by Sauer.
That magic 8-point differential shook the world of pro football. It was the most triumphant moment in the AFL's short history, and the star of that moment was number 12.
I think a lot of people were surprised today. A lot of our critics. The whole AFL play with anybody in the world. And right now, we're supposedly better than anybody in the world. And I feel that way. I felt that way all along.
From football and paperback hero to a professional and committed actor. That's Joe Namath today. The playing fields have changed, but the love of performing remains the same.
If you got any good sense at all as an athlete in football, you know you could go out there and get killed. I don't care what football player it is, they've got to think about the possibility of getting crippled, being hurt severely. Now, when you go out there to play, it goes out of your mind. But in the other professions, you do have cooperation of the people that you're working with in the studio, the cameraman, the lights, or whatever. In sports, you don't have that cooperation. And in football, you certainly don't have it. So there's the big difference. You don't worry about getting killed when you're going out on stage.
Joe Willie Namath, retired in 1978, but we'll always remember him for that.